Hey everyone, welcome back to the next episode of the Wayfinder Performance Lecture Series. In the first episode, we talked a bit about call and response and the role of active listening in helping us think really differently about how we communicate. In the second episode, we talked about trust and the way of cultivating it, really requiring us to think back to some of the basics of how we build human connection. In this episode, I just wanted to share a bit about a common language, which builds on the first two, active listening and trust. For jazz musicians, that common language comes in different ways. It can be the common language of how we communicate together as a band, on stage, visual cues, having played together before, being able to anticipate what folks are going to do, and sometimes be completely surprised. In other ways, our standards, which are dozens, hundreds of tunes that around the world rely on some vocabulary that we all have in common. So think of it as probably the oldest form of coding. And regardless of where you are, what language you speak, these things we can rely on. And thinking about that principle of a common language and thinking about the world we're in now, which is ever complicated, in the midst of many different crises, what are the common languages that we have and that we can rely on regardless of where we are? Those common languages can be patterns, they can be actual ways of building connection, they can be rituals or habits that we've cultivated. And being able to identify them can help us plan and at least be ready to adapt and change. So with that in mind, I'd ask you to think about some of the common languages in your life, in the communities that you're part of. And I'm going to share a standard, a common language, of a tune called All the Things You Are. You are a promised touch of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star, the dearest things I know are what you are. Someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know that moment divine when all the things you are on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star, the dearest things I know are what you are. Someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday